Nutrition and feeding of family poultry. The free-range system. During the day, free-range poultry are allowed to move over a wide area, which may be enclosed. During the night, they are housed. The flock size varies depending on the financial capacity, facilities, perception and priorities of the producer. The intensity of crop cultivation and the need to protect crops during the growing season usually restricts the free movement of poultry on the range. This results in poor nutritional status, either in general or during a specific season. Farmers provide supplementary feed using grains, grain byproducts, kitchen waste, homemade feeds or commercial feeds in feeders placed on the range. Productive, locally adapted and commercial hybrid breeds are used for free-range poultry production. Hybrid layer hens can produce 150 to 200 eggs per year under this system, and production is usually for sale outside the farmstead. The feeding of free-range poultry is influenced by the scavengeable feed resources on the range, as well as by the social behavior of birds in the flock. The effect of seasons on the availability of the scavengeable feed resource is also important for the free-range system. Hotter, drier climates will produce more insects, while cooler, more humid climates will support more worms. Allowing free-range birds access to the cattle enclosure can provide new scavengeable feed resources like ticks from cattle or earthworms and maggots growing on cattle dung. The impact of climate change through droughts and floods also has an effect on the availability of scavengeable feed resources. However, the promotion of new feed resources, such as termites and worms, and the development of different techniques for using existing scavengeable feed resources on the range can help to mitigate these effects. Optimum use of the range is vital. Partial or sectional use of the range must be discouraged through the use of wigwams and other attractants, such as feed and water troughs, placed in less used areas of the range. Range utilization must be monitored constantly. This is more important during adverse weather, when birds tend to stay closer to the shelter. The range area can be extended through the use of accessible areas under trees, especially in orchards and plantations. However, nutrition and feeding possibilities depend on the plant species in these orchards and plantations. The potentially harmful effects of pesticides used should also be considered. A number of interventions can be employed to increase feeding possibilities under the free-range system. One possibility is to use multiple poultry species that utilize the range in different ways. Another is the use of supplementary feeding. The conventional feed ingredients for poultry are grains and oilseed cakes. These are also used as human food, which results in competition. Avoiding competition between humans and poultry requires on-farm feed production based on the utilization of non-conventional feed ingredients such as cassava, sweet potato, cocoyam, arrowroot, coconut residues, coconut oil, palm oil, and other non-traditional energy sources. Non-conventional feedstuffs that are good substitutes for fish meal, soybean, and groundnut oil meals include industrial byproducts, such as those from breweries and fish processing plants, as well as earthworm meal, maggot meal, winged bean, pigeon pea, jack bean, azolla, leaf meals, and leaf protein concentrates. Integrating poultry with the production of rice, fruits, vegetables, fish, cattle or pigs can also increase feeding possibilities. Vegetation represents a considerable portion of the menu of free-range birds. This may offer only minimal nutrients, except fiber and some vitamins. Although the birds may supplement their protein intake by consumption of insects, ascertaining whether they are receiving an adequate quantity of high-quality protein can be a challenge. This is one reason why feather pecking and associated cannibalism are likely to occur in free-range hens. Protein deficiency is closely associated with increased feather pecking behavior, and birds receiving low levels of protein have greater feather pecking mortality than those receiving higher dietary protein. Feather pecking behavior may be caused by an inadequate supply of protein, the type of protein fed, or inadequate supply of specific amino acids. This is a real possibility when birds are fed low-protein diets or exclusively vegetable proteins. In addition, birds receiving inadequate amino acids in their diets may have poor plumage development, which will also encourage feather pecking. Feather pecking behavior can be attributed to many factors, including the genetics of the birds, diet type, and management conditions. Nevertheless, there is compelling evidence that feather pecking behavior is strongly influenced by dietary protein supply. There is also a direct relationship between the incidence of feather pecking and associated mortality and dietary fiber content. Incidence and mortality related to feather pecking has been shown to be lower in birds presented with diets containing high levels of dietary fiber. Generally, incidence of feather pecking decreases as the level of dietary fiber increases. The insoluble fibers are nutrient diluents that contribute little nutrition to the bird but encourage a more rapid gut fill because of their bulky nature. Consequently, when birds consume diets that are high in insoluble fibers, they spend more time eating and less time on feather pecking. It is important to balance the need for fiber, however, against the requirement for other nutrients in the diet. A few important points can be made in relation to the nutrition and feeding of free-range birds. Improper management of aggressive behavior by birds will induce stress and increase their dietary energy and total nutrient requirements, thereby reducing the profitability of production. Nutritional interventions that can reduce stressful behavior include the provision of protein supplements with required amino acids and dietary fiber. Reduction of aggressive behavior in hens increases hen day production and livability of hens by at least 10%. The provision of dietary protein supplements and fiber increases the profitability of hens by at least 20%. This presentation about free-range system is part 2 of a 4-part series on the nutrition and feeding of family poultry.